My name is Rebecca, and I bought my dad a brand new truck for his 60th birthday. Not just any truck, but the exact one he'd been obsessing over for months, a fully loaded Ram 1500. I thought it would be the perfect gift, something that would finally show him how much I cared. I had been working nonstop for 2 years, saving every penny I could. I skipped weekends with friends, turned down dinner invitations, even canceled my gym membership. Every sacrifice, every ounce of effort was to make this moment perfect. I thought that when he saw the truck, when I handed him the keys, it would all be worth it. But I was wrong. The moment I handed him those keys, I could already feel something was off. Dinner was supposed to be a celebration, a simple family gathering to mark his milestone birthday. I had hoped for some acknowledgement, maybe even a little gratitude. Instead, as soon as the meal started to settle, he raised his glass. "To my idiot daughter," he said, voice loud enough for everyone to hear, "trying to buy love with money." The laughter that followed was sharp, unfiltered, like they'd all been waiting for him to say it. I sat there, frozen, as the words cut deeper than anything I expected. I thought I could handle it, but that was before he turned my heartfelt gift into a joke, something to mock in front of everyone. I didn't know what to do, so I stood up, forced a smile, and walked out without a word. The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing like crazy. 88 missed calls. It wasn't just my dad, though. There were messages from Aaron, from Lacey, all asking the same thing. Why would I do something like that? Why would I take the truck back? I knew they were angry, but I didn't care. I didn't feel guilty. Instead, I felt numb, empty. The driveway where I'd left the truck the night before was now empty. The red bow was gone, the truck that was supposed to symbolize everything I had sacrificed now out of my life. I didn't respond to a single call or text. For the first time, I felt like I didn't owe them anything. I was done. What no one knew was how much that truck had cost me, beyond the money. I didn't just hand over cash at the dealership. I worked for it. I'd been in finance for years, not the glamorous kind, just spreadsheets, endless hours, and weekends spent in the office. I gave up the little things. Take-out dinners with friends, gone. New clothes, not a chance. I even canceled my gym membership for 6 months so I could save more. Every sacrifice, every skipped outing, was for this one moment. I thought it would make him proud. I thought it would make him see me. Instead, he saw a joke. And now, I was left with nothing but his harsh words echoing in my head. I couldn't remember a time when it wasn't like this, when his love didn't come with conditions. Growing up, I was never good enough. I was smart. I got into a great college and landed a solid job. But none of that mattered to him. It wasn't Aaron perfect. Aaron was always the golden child, the personal trainer, the social media queen, the one with the tiny waist and perfect smile. I was never enough. I was too heavy, too serious, too plain. Every birthday dinner, every family gathering, there was always something. Salad instead of the meal I wanted, comments about my weight, little jabs dressed up as advice. "It's for your health," they'd say. But it never felt like care. It felt like judgment. And I never realized just how much it was eating away at me until that night. Aaron, the golden child, had it all. He never needed to try, never had to prove anything, and I was the one left chasing his shadow. My dad's constant comparisons made it clear that I was never going to live up to what he wanted. I wasn't thin enough, pretty enough, social enough. And every time I thought I was doing something good, something worthy, it felt like he found a way to twist it, to make it seem like I was doing it all wrong. When I was 21, he told me no man would love me unless I lost weight. That number, 150, stuck with me like a curse. It wasn't just a number on a scale. It was a mark of failure, a reminder that no matter what I did, I was never enough for him. That truck was my attempt to prove something to him. It wasn't about buying his love. It was about showing him that I could give something without strings attached. But that night, I learned something hard. It wasn't about the truck. It was about years of hurt, years of him making me feel like an obligation, a joke. When he raised that glass and called me an idiot, I knew this was the last time I would ever try to earn his approval. I couldn't do it anymore. And as I walked out, I realized just how much I had been sacrificing for a man who would never see me for who I truly was. The next morning, everything was clearer. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt empty, a little hollow, but also strangely calm. It was like something inside me had clicked off, like I had finally reached the end of a journey I never wanted to be on. I made a decision that morning, not just about the truck, but about everything. I wasn't going to play this game anymore. I wasn't going to wait for his approval, for his affection, for anything. I called the dealership and explained everything. They agreed to reverse the sale if I brought it back, and I did. I didn't give them a second thought. I wasn't going to let anyone make me feel small anymore, not even him. I didn't return to my dad's house immediately. Instead, I drove over the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. The neighborhood was still quiet, the air cool with early morning dew. His sprinklers were running in the front yard, the red bow I had placed on the truck now wilting from the moisture. I didn't hesitate. I unlocked the truck with the spare key I kept, started the engine, and backed out of the driveway. There was no one around to see it, no one to stop me. It was just me and that truck, mine for just a moment, before I decided to take back control. When I got home, my phone exploded with texts and calls, but I ignored them all. This time, I wasn't going to be anyone's puppet. The next day, I stayed quiet. I didn't return any of their calls, Aaron, Lacey, or even my dad. It wasn't just about the truck anymore. It was about the years of emotional manipulation, the constant guilt trips, and the endless attempts to make me feel like I owed them something. I wasn't going to play that game anymore. So, I went to the gym, lost myself in the treadmill for hours. I needed to be alone with my thoughts, to silence the noise that had been screaming in my head for so long. I didn't check my phone until I was done. And when I finally did, I saw the messages had only piled up. More accusations, more guilt. But no one had asked how I was feeling. No one had asked if I was okay. Only that I'd humiliated him. That was when I knew I had to make the break permanent. The messages kept coming one after another. My dad's voicemail was the most infuriating. He told me I was overreacting, that the whole thing was just a joke, and that people laughed because it was funny. But then came the line that sent a chill down my spine. If you're going to be this sensitive, maybe don't come around anymore. That was it. The final confirmation that I was never going to get an apology, never going to get the understanding I'd been waiting for. He didn't care about the pain he caused. He only cared about himself. His voice on that voicemail was filled with anger, but also a strange sense of entitlement, like I owed him something. I didn't call back. I deleted the message along with all the others. I was done. It wasn't just the truck. It wasn't the toast. It was everything. The years of insults, the cruel comparisons, the constant weight of his expectations. I had been his punching bag, his source of disappointment, the one he could rely on to either laugh off his jabs or stay silent when he made me feel small. The moment he told me to stay away, to stop being sensitive, I knew that something inside me had finally broken. I was tired of being the daughter he could manipulate. I was tired of living under the shadow of his disappointment. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of standing up for myself. I was done being the good sport, the one who smiled through the insults. I needed to let go, and I was finally ready to do it.
That knee.
Just when I thought I was finally free, the messages started again. My dad reached out, his tone different this time. He wanted to talk. He wanted to work things out, like everything could go back to how it was before. But I knew it wasn't about reconciliation. It was about control. It always had been. The texts and calls didn't stop, and then Aaron reached out, accusing me of hurting our dad. But I wasn't playing that game anymore. This wasn't a mistake or something I could fix with a simple apology. This was the result of years of hurt, years of being made to feel like I wasn't enough. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I had already made my peace.
A couple of weeks later, I went to LA for work. I didn't tell anyone I was going, didn't make a big announcement. I just went. When I arrived at the hotel, I saw him standing there, arms crossed, sunglasses on, trying to look like the concerned father. I almost laughed. He looked older, more fragile, like he was trying to hold on to some dignity he'd lost years ago. He wanted to talk, to apologize, but I knew it wasn't genuine. It never was. I asked him, flatly, "Why did you humiliate me in front of everyone when I gave you the truck?" His answer was the same. "It was just a joke. You're too sensitive." But it wasn't a joke to me. It was never about a joke. It was about control. I realized then, in that moment, that nothing had changed. He still didn't understand, and I wasn't going to waste any more energy trying to make him. I walked away, and for the first time, I felt lighter.